Hi, this is Steve from YourCreativeLife.com, talking today about the various ways that we put scripts together in the writer's room. Now, any of you who are out there who have been in a writer's room may know some of this or all of this, and those of you who haven't, well, this video is really for you. There are a couple of different kinds of writer's rooms. There are shows that have writer's rooms, and there are shows that don't have writer's rooms. I've actually never been on a show that didn't have a writer's room, but my understanding is that for those shows, a writer will come to the showrunner or to maybe a select group of one or two other writers and propose an idea and then go off and work on it and bring progress of that idea to these couple of people, maybe the showrunner, maybe another executive producer or a co-EP. And in little teams, these writers will then sort of help that one writer build up a script, create a draft, and then it goes off to the showrunner to perhaps rewrite or approve or give notes or that sort of thing. So that's one version where a show doesn't actually have a writer's room. And in those instances, those shows might use a writer's room occasionally where they come in and people just brainstorm a whole bunch of ideas, but on a regular basis, they're not meeting every day to talk about ideas. They're basically going off and, sort of doing an independent study with a bunch of different writers who then bring show ideas, episode ideas to their showrunner and maybe a couple of other people. So that's one version. In the version that I've been in, which all of the shows that I've been on have had writers' rooms, we on a regular basis meet in the writers' room and talk about a particular episode. The showrunner will say, perhaps it's this kind of episode, and then we'll brainstorm about it. And together as a group, we create, generally what the story is about. And then more specifically, we'll have to eventually write a document or several, a story area, which is a very short synopsis, 1 to 3 pages for the studio or network and network to approve. And then you might go to an outline, which might be anywhere from, 5 to 15 or 20 pages that then steps out every scene and again goes to the studio and network for approval. And then all of these things are, the writers in the room are collaborating on in terms of setting up the material. And then one writer goes off and actually writes those particular documents to the specifications of the room. Once that's done and you have an outline and that the network and studio have approved that outline, then you go to script. And there are two versions in the world that I've worked in of how that script process goes. Number one, there might be a show where you get the script, your name is going to be on the script, and you're the one to write the whole thing. So you take that outline approved by the network with the blessing of your showrunner, and you go off and you spend maybe 3 days, 5 days, a week writing that script, soup to nuts. You write every scene, you might put it down, you come back, you change, you tweak, you try to make sure you got the spirit of the outline and make sure that everything sort of flows in terms of the mystery or the comedy or the romance of it or whatever it is your show is trying to do. And that becomes sort of the one-person job. And then you bring that back to your showrunner or other higher ups, and they look at it, approve it, give notes, or maybe they just sort of take it over and then start to rewrite, which happens a lot in the industry. So that's one process where a single writer goes off and executes what the room has decided. The second version, which I've had happen several times in my career, is that we group write. So that basically means that even though perhaps, let's say, my name is at the top of the script, a number of writers on our team will take different parts. So somebody, perhaps me in this case, divides up the script and says, you'll write these 3 scenes, you'll write these 5 scenes, you'll write these 2 scenes, you'll write this scene, you'll write that scene. And then those scenes all come back together. And the person whose name is on the script, who's also written several scenes in the material, me in this instance, will then make sure that all those scenes fit. Like, do they flow, and are they no repetition? And, does it feel like one person wrote it? Is the suspense good? Is the romance good? Are the jokes clear? Is the logic clear from one scene to the next? That becomes the purview of the person who's basically sort of managing to put the script back together and doing a tightening sort of rewrite to get it to flow all from beginning to end. then that writer, in this case me, would take that script either back to the showrunner or back to sometimes the writer's room and present it to everybody. Everybody reads it and then gets a series of notes, and we'll go back in and make more changes, or maybe some other senior writer will take the script over and begin to make some changes. And there's also the instance in the world of television where you decide, even after you've done everything and have an actual script, that parts of it don't really work. In which case, again, you might bring it back to the writer's room, you might tweak and change, you might rewrite, you might also redivide stuff and say, okay, well, the first half of the script you're going to take, and the second half of the script I'm going to take. Or perhaps if the show has several storylines, you might say, well, this storyline, these characters, you people take, and you, or this writer will take and rewrite. And for, other stuff, it's assigned differently. Now, I will say all the shows that I've been on are dramas and function, in this way, more or less, one of these paths. But in the world of comedy, I know that there are some times that the comedy writers, there are story rooms, like they might divide up into two rooms, and one is working on the story and the other is working on jokes. One is sort of deciding what the mechanics are of the storyline between the characters, and other people are saying, oh, here's a good comic bit that would happen here, and what could these people say, and that sort of thing. And so there are all kinds of ways that you can divide and conquer in terms of the work in a writer's room, but it's really about dividing and conquering and deciding if you're going to, as a showrunner, have a room, not have a room, have people come to you, one-on-one, or have a room and assign a script to each person where they go off and actually get the chance to write a version of that script themselves, or have a room where even after it's all broken, you divide it up and everyone group writes every script. All of those options are on the table as a showrunner, and as the showrunner, the person who is the head writer and literally running the show, that person, if it's you get to decide. And those are the many ways that that these scripts get put together in a writer's room. I hope you found that interesting and useful and can use it in your own either research or actual writing career or future writing career, because all of these things are about enhancing your creative life. So thanks for watching. If you dug this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel. I create a brand new video about the writing life every week. And you can see on this channel, there are dozens upon dozens of these videos that are really informative and that people seem to like. Also, go to yourcreativelife.com where you can find out more about my coaching, my one-on-one coaching, the classes that I sometimes have. You can subscribe to my newsletter, take a listen to the podcast, and also find a link to this channel where you can get more of this juicy goodness. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.